Welcome in, everybody. It is the return of the Scarves and Spikes player ratings episode. First one of the season. I feel like I'm being
See it
tested.
right above us?
Oh, I thought you were doing like the "Are you drunk?" test on the side of the road
No,
with the eyeball.
no. I was just pointing out. I was pointing out these graphics above us. But
Yes.
yeah. Um, disappointing. Yeah, you see it too, Tommy. Don't break it. um, yeah, disappointing result. Obviously for Atlanta United against the defending champs. Felt like we talked about this. First half was kind of destroyed it. Second half much better, but again, to come away with the 1-0 loss against the defending MLS Cup champions in the place where Korea have really dominated teams over the past couple of years. So move on and look forward to this home opener on March 9th against the New England Revolution.
Is the world imploding? Is it over? Is the season over?
I felt like the world was freezing yesterday. I still don't have feeling in my fingers. I might have trouble writing numbers down. No.
Well,
no matter what was going to happen in this game, unless it was like 6-1 again, I don't think there really should have been an overreaction to this because you've got three. You're supposed to be improving better defensively, correct? And the three guys that you brought in have not had a ton of time to mesh. It's going to take a little bit here. Didn't expect the world from them. We allowed one goal. There weren't a ton of great scoring chances by Columbus. That's the other part of it, right?
Yeah,
like if it was just they were lucky and shooting it, and just barely missing, it wasn't that situation there. They did a pretty good overall job of stopping opportunities.
So this is the way that this works out. If you are just kind of one of our new subscribers, a lot of things have been happening recently. We did these a lot last year. They're a lot of fun. We enjoy them. And essentially the way this goes down is we pick out a handful of players from the match, usually the ones getting the most social media attention for a variety of reasons.
I can't think of anyone who's been getting a lot of attention, by the way.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Sorry.
But we're going to pick a handful. We're going to give you our immediate ratings, and then we'll share what they look like compared to the ever resounding and accurate FOTMob ratings. So with that being said, y'all want to get going?
I'm ready.
I'm nervous.
I'm ready. Okay. Nervous. I know. It's been a minute. First one going to be, and we got to get this straight. Is it Bartek, Bartosz,
Slish?
Slish.
This will be fun. Speaking of,
I can't imagine how varied these are going to be.
By the way, as always, if you all agree, disagree, let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you.
We're not the only ones with opinions, obviously. All right, we ready? Lower number goes first. Here we go. 6.5 from me. 6.5 from Sydney. 6.2 from Tommy. Wow. This is way closer than I thought it would be.
All right, Tommy.
I need to go back and watch it. When you're in the corner of a stadium, it's kind of really hard to see everything and how he handled, especially the first half. The first half, defensively, they were on the complete opposite side, so it was hard for me to see everything. But I thought he was okay. A little nervous early on, which I think the entire team was nervous early on. The stadium was extremely loud. The fans were behind him, and I think that it rattled Atlanta United early on. I thought he grew into the game well. A couple nice passes, but he was just okay. I didn't know what to expect from him, but it didn't. From what you read on the webs, like you talked about, he's a bust, right? Let's get rid of this guy, send him back, tomorrow. It's not that situation. I think that he's going to be very good here, and I think that him when Almada, at practice for these next 2 weeks, like getting a combination of them all working together, I think is going to be extremely important. But yeah, I'm not overreacting. I think he was just above average.
Give him time. I mean, very few very few players step in and right away have an immediate um, positive contribution on the match. This is a guy who played his first actual competitive game in brand new league and brand new country against players that he's never seen before, never played against before. And the way some people on social media are acting, you think he had a total shocker in the midfield. You think that he should be bought out tomorrow, and that's not the case. Let's calm down. Let's relax. Tommy, you're right. He wasn't great. He wasn't terrible either. There was a moment in Tyler, I think you and I brought it up in the watch along the other day, and Sam Jones actually brought it up too. There's a moment where he and Almada were in the same space at the same time, and there's just some communication issues that need to be worked out. Like, how much time has he gotten with Thiago Almada? That's another question. Barely any, right? So
roughly a week.
Yeah,
maybe 2 practices.
Yeah, 2 training sessions at best. So that chemistry, that knowledge of each other isn't going to come overnight, right? They have to work together. They have to continue to learn each other's tendencies. And I think that was just proof positive of what that looked like when 2 guys haven't trained together a whole lot. You have 2 weeks between the match yesterday and the match against New England to get back on the training ground, continue to learn each other's tendencies, continue to gel. And for Slisz, you have that much more time to continue to build that bond with his teammates and continue to, again, gel and get to know them and work himself into a good rhythm and knowledge of what each other is doing. But again, let's stop with this. He was terrible. He wasn't. I mean, come on, people. Relax.
Well, shout out to you, Sydney, because you asked Pineda that after the game about, these extra 2 weeks. And, you think about it. Yeah, Almada's, has obviously missed the entire preseason. Giakoumakis has missed some time as well. I mean, you've got a lot of guys that really just need to get up and go. And Caleb Wiley missed some time, right? Maybe Mosquera could even be available in the next 2 weeks. I mean, I guess whichever way you look at it, these next 2 weeks I think are huge for whatever way. But some people are going to say it's too much time off. But I think that this is actually perfect for this team that has so many new faces in the starting lineup.
I'm not. Yeah, and some of that again. I'm not worried about Slish at all. So again, let's calm down.
I like that. This is the closest thing to a rant we've gotten from Sydney.
I had one last year, a little bit more spicier, but this is my thoughts.
We're building up. We're building up to that. I'm going to take everybody out rant from Sydney.
It feels good when you do it too.
Right.
From someone with the experience, it feels really good to do it.
So this game would not have even been close if it weren't for Slish. I just think he's not getting enough credit for what he did do, because your defensive midfielder, when they do the right stuff, they don't really get noticed, right? You might get noticed if you ping a long ball up to an attacker and they end up scoring, right? But if you're back there defending your heart out and doing the job, you're not really going to get noticed typically. And he did that yesterday. And, we talk about the new guys coming in, right? This defensive triangle of the 2 new center backs and then your defensive midfielder, brand new, already a step up over what we've had the past couple of years. So yeah, the chemistry is going to need to be there. It's okay with the back 3, the center backs and then him. But now, you've got to develop that chemistry going forward. You have to develop, how does Slish be that solution from moving the ball from the back line and through the midfield? And that's where you've got to fix a couple of things. And again, that'll come with time. He can do it. I've watched him hit these long balls in training already out to the wings, and it's great. It's a great thing to see. I didn't see anything wrong with Slish. I didn't see anything that just stood out as any serious mistakes. I think he just has to settle in with the team a little bit more and I think he's going to be that calming presence once he, I think, fully acclimates, right? Acclimating in preseason is one thing. Acclimating to a legit road game away when it's 30 degrees outside is totally different. So
again, a whole new country too, a whole new league.
Yeah, yeah, entirely. So he'll be fine. I liked what I saw. In the second half, Atlanta wouldn't have been as effective if it weren't for him. He was finding space up the field. He was helping progress the ball. So again, if you don't have him, this game looks totally different yesterday in a bad way. So
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Alrighty. Next up.
Well, what does FOTMOB say about Slish?
Yeah, look at that. It's preseason mode. All right, FOTMOB giving Bartosz Slisz the 6.4.
Okay, so right about in line with what we said. Then.
Yeah,
so
pretty even.
Okay.
And for those really quick, for those people that are curious, I mean, it's kind of funny. The dude actually had 2 shots,
right?
Which is surprising. But yeah, I mean, he did the job. He did the job. So the only thing, he needs to be better with his ground duels. He only won 1 out of 6. I know Pineda won't be happy about that.
Yeah.
But other than that,
it's duels.
Right. Yeah, his duels. All right, next up, center back pairing of Stian Gregersen and Derrick Williams together.
Brand new center back pairing too.
Individual ratings if you want, but
okay. So I wrote down combined ratings. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep it. I thought about doing individual, but I'm gonna keep it as is.
Okay.
Personally, you guys do what you want. I'm ready.
We make our own rules here.
What is up?
I'll do the individual. All right, what we got?
Hold on.
Oh,
last minute
updates.
Yes.
Last minute edits.
Yes. Okay.
Here we go.
I'm ready. Yes.
All right. 7.8 for me, 6.6 for Sydney, and a 6.9
for Tommy.
Nice for Tommy.
Nice.
I'll go first. I thought they were really good. The only reason I put 6.6 was because of the penalty that Gregersen was responsible for, and we could talk about whether it was a penalty or not. Still can't really put yourself in that position to give that penalty, and fortunately it was saved by Guzan at the end of the day, so it didn't really matter.
Because ball don't lie.
Yeah, ball don't lie, exactly. Kind of put himself in a tough position to give up that penalty. So that's kind of why I docked him. Collectively, I should say. Williams had maybe a pass or two that weren't great and cost possession for the other team. Lost possession for his team, I should say. So that's kind of why I docked him, I should say. But overall, nothing that really stood out in the wrong way. There's going to be obviously a lot of expectations on Gregersen, especially because he's stepping in for Miles Robinson. Say what you want about Robinson and his form after his Achilles, but still, this is a guy who was one of the highest paid center backs in MLS, and you have Gregersen stepping in on a quote-unquote restricted DP, as Bocanegra called it the other day.
DP light.
Yeah, DP light. But yeah, still, there's going to be expectations on him stepping into a critical position on the field, taking over for a national team level center back. And I said this yesterday, I thought he had a really good account of himself for much of the game. Again, the penalty conceded was a drawback, but his speed was on display throughout the match. He's talked a lot about his speed. Playing against Haaland, playing against Mbappe, who are decent players, I'm told.
A little bit.
Pretty good.
Never heard of him.
No, but yeah, gave it real good account of himself. Really good account of himself. I thought Williams not as good, but still no mistakes that really stood out for me, except for those passes that I just mentioned. Overall, and Guzan was impressed with them as well. I asked him about it in the post-match yesterday. But overall, yeah, a good showing. It's obviously a lot to build on back there. But a good showing for them, and let's see again over these next couple of weeks as they continue to trade together what it looks like when they take on the Revs. But so good building blocks. And again, it's 1-0. I mean, this was a 6-1 game last year at their place, and Columbus again, not a ton of offensive action, to be completely honest. No, you had a few chances in the first half, but they really settled in the second half, and Gregersen and Williams were a big part of that. So that's my 2 cents on that.
What you got, Tommy?
Williams seemed a little slow to me. I've still got to go back and finish the entire game, on the rewatch, but he did seem a little slower. The Gregersen speed, you saw it a little bit on a couple runs back, but Columbus is a team that has basically stuck together, which is something that you don't see very often after a team wins MLS Cup. It usually gets broken up, one big player leaves, and then it's kind of chaos with that team. This was not the case. They brought everyone back, right? Cucho was rumored to be wanted. He ends up staying, obviously ends up scoring, but you got these 2 guys back there, completely new, and they seemed calm on the ball when they got it. When there was a lot of chaos there, they seemed to remain calm, or able to clear the ball. Where I look at last year multiple times with Abram and Robinson, and it was chaos. I like Miles is just kicking it, wherever, and it's going to another player who shoots it into the net, right? Like, I mean, I love Miles, but at the end, I thought there were a lot of big mistakes from him. Very small sample size here, but I liked what I saw. And I think they're going to continue to keep this pairing, obviously, in 2 weeks. I don't think either one of them have lost the position. But just want everyone to remember, like, the overreaction on Twitter, I don't really know about the whole Gregersen, Miles debate. But Gregersen's not making more money than what Miles would have gotten if he would have stayed here.
Yeah,
is that my understanding here? It was more transfer fees, all of that, and that's why he's the DP player.
Yeah.
The overreactions on here is, oh, well, this guy, is the DP. He's, they didn't care enough for Miles to make him a DP.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. It's a different situation here. Gregersen is getting paid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a decent money here, but he's going to grow into his own here. And, just like you said, with Slish, new league, got to get used to it. It's going to be fine. I think Williams being part of the league for such a long time probably helps Gregersen a little bit there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope this works out, because I think then you can, we've heard kind of talks about the salary cap situation where we're at. We're kind of at the limit of where we can be.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If these 2 can do well, then maybe you can move on from Abram and be able to bring on someone else later in the year.
Yeah. All of this, right, is a small sample size. That's why you can't overreact at this point. Like, I'm not even going to get into the other conversations that are going around, but you had your 2 brand new to the team center backs. Between the 2 of them had 18 defensive actions. That's a lot. And maybe not a good thing that the team is putting them in that position. But the fact that they can handle it, right, and come out and put in the 2 shifts that they did is exciting, actually. Now, you hope they don't have to be that involved in the game in that way going forward. But when you're playing away in MLS, there are going to be games like playing against Columbus where you're going to be put up against the ropes. And it's okay to bend, not break. And if we go to the 1 goal that was scored, there were mistakes that were made, but the mistakes weren't made by the center back pairing, right? So I liked what I saw. Stian Gregersen's speed is everything it's cracked up to be. Doesn't matter. I don't agree with the PK. I thought it was soft. I think this is a contact sport. So, hey, if you get a shoulder into you, it's not like he came in extremely hot. I feel like Mo Farsi went down a little easy, whatever.
I've seen it go either way. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's a coin toss depending on what ref you get and what VAR you get. But ultimately, I liked what I saw out of both of them. Stian's speed was definitely solid. And one thing I noticed too was Stian was being very vocal back there, very vocal, which is something that was missing from the Miles Robinson side of the game. So, I like it. And it's unfortunate that as hard as the defense played, the attack wasn't able to at least pull back an equalizer. So the two of them on FOTMob, this makes it easy to do the average, got 6.3 each.
Averages out to 6.3, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. I was way
you're good
high.
at math.
I know,
Yes.
right? Even
Took
that
like
math was easy for me.
Seconds for me to figure that out.
All right, moving forward. It is now, and it's funny because we changed this one multiple times before we went and recorded this.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with I choose you, Xande Silva.
Pokemon.
Gotta catch 'em all.
So shout out to James. I already retweeted. He posted a video pretty much of every one of his touches out there. Go check it out because
Hummus.
I guess I really liked to be able to go through every one of that, and I was impressed. Spoiler.
All right, ready?
Yep. 6.8 for Tyler, 6.7 for me, 7 for Tommy. So
Pretty close.
again, we're kind of all close together.
Now it would have been way lower if I didn't watch James' video. By the way,
Yeah.
let me just get that out there. It would have been way lower.
No, but yeah, he involved offensively as well as defensively. You know, Tyler, you and I were talking a few times yesterday how deep he was defensively, how he's coming back to help defensively as essentially a second left back, or for lack of a better phrase. So that's interesting to see. I don't remember a whole lot where he did that last season when he came in. But yeah, he obviously he's not into defend, he's in to create offense and create attacking opportunities. And that's kind of a pleasant surprise for me. So he did good. He did good when he was called upon on those situations to help clean up and help Caleb out in the left. By the way, I thought Caleb was good, steady as ever. But it's good to have Silva kind of back there to help in some spells to help clean things up defensively on that left-hand side. Now, keeping in mind, again, you know, he's in there to create attacking opportunities. And, you know, he was called upon a lot, especially in the first half. Initially, you didn't see a lot of service on the right from Lennon and Saba. Those two eventually got involved into the game, but more of that was on the left side with Caleb, with Xande. And yeah, a bit slow, of course, in the first half. Everybody was slow, disjointed, making a lot of mistakes, but second half things improved. And again, much of that was from the midfield and the right channels, but I thought when Xande was called upon, he did good. We'll see him building on it, of course, in the next couple of weeks here, but he did good from my vantage point.
So Xande was an enigma for me in this match. He put in a shift, and he did all the right things, I think, in terms of like the numbers and being in the right positions at the right time. The only thing that I think maybe was unfortunate for Xande was at very key times his inability to hold on to the ball. And it's I don't want to say it's not his fault because you have to hold on to the ball, but you had passes being threaded to him in very, very tight spots, and they weren't easy, admittedly, spots to hold on to the ball. But then when you take the whole game, he actually was one of your better players. I think going forward, obviously the second half for everybody was better, but the second half for Xande Silva was way better. And it's because they were able to involve the midfield more and both wings, so that he had the space to get open and actually have those touches. But, you know, it's kind of funny because he was 100% on his dribbles on the day. So when he had that extra second to really control the ball and make a run, he's eating people alive. But it was those early moments, I think, where a ball's coming in from, Brad Guzan out of the back or coming up hot from Caleb or whatever, where he was having trouble kind of sticking the ball and possessing it and making that turn out of a lot of traffic, because Columbus was all over him. So it's not just his fault. But then that's where the team has to go and try to do something different. And I don't think they did that in the first half.
I think too, there are a couple times when maybe he held onto the ball a little bit longer. You would have loved to see him make quicker decisions in the attack, and not to say those would have been guaranteed goals, but you would have loved to see Xande maybe pull the trigger a little bit quicker on a few of his crosses. So,
yep.
Is he a player that just feels it at home? Like, I feel like he's flashier and just really gets it moving when it's a home game compared to a road game.
I mean,
he thrives in that environment for sure.
Just something about it. It feels like he's a little flashier when he's at home. But I enjoyed it, like both what you both said. I pretty much enjoyed everything that he was able to do. The wings is what transformed Atlanta United in the last third of the season. Pineda said, "I'm going to change how we use the wingers." That was his last thing, and then 2 new wingers come in, and it's one of the best offenses in the league. And you're going to have to rely on these two, Saba and Silva, a lot. I thought they both improved, especially as the game progressed, especially Saba. I thought Saba got real good there towards the end. But yeah, we need a little bit more consistency with Silva this season than what we had last year, and especially on the road, because it's the problem. We can't win on the road. So we got to see a little bit more from him.
Yeah. Whoa. Agreed. Fought Mob. He's on the opposite side on Fought Mob. He's not where he's supposed to be. He is a 7.3, which is wild. Almost the highest rated one.
Okay.
Not that it's wild in a bad way, but
right.
I think he could have went either way. But it's the numbers that did it for him.
What are you thinking, Tommy?
Well, I asked you guys this when we were on Spaces. Who was the highest player? And I don't remember who you two guessed. I said that besides Brad. I don't remember who you both guessed. I wouldn't have thought
the lowest was. I don't remember the highest.
I'm trying to remember. I think I said Muyumba was the lowest, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Lowest. I'll be first to say it. I said Caleb.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that was me too.
I think he just took a little bit of time to grow into the game. So, speaking of Caleb and that side though, and Xande, Xande, another one, had 8 defensive actions as a winger.
Yeah,
that's a testament to him and his work rate.
Yeah,
it's not great for the team when your wingers having to do that much defensive work. You got to figure out a way out of that. But for him as a player, as a person, that's the work rate that you want, right? All right.
Well, I think that's also to Pineda though too, right? Like I think having everybody chip in. I mean, I think we've seen other wingers before not chip in defensively.
Are you trying to avoid saying his name and put a dollar in the jar?
He who must not be named.
That man, he did defensively on occasions he helped, but there was, there's some younger kids that have been out here that have had to start some games on the wing that really didn't help defensively.
Yeah.
But no, I want to just call that guy out. I actually think that he was doing more defensively than he was doing offensively.
Just maybe not by design.
Right. Exactly.
No, not by design at all.
Yeah.
All right. The last one. Got to give credit to him. The big bald wall himself, Brad Guzan.
Bradley Edwin Guzan.
Bradley Edwin.
How did Twitter handle when the starting lineup came out?
I mean, I didn't really see what everybody said. I just saw the lineup, so I didn't really look at the reaction.
Not as spicy as I thought they would be. But, it's still Twitter.
Yeah. Or
I
X.
couldn't take my fingers out. Like I kept like trying to check things, and it just wasn't working. And I had these really crappy gloves, so I just stayed off the internet most of the game, which was nice.
That's
Oh, yeah.
always a good thing to do. That's always good advice. Just stay off the internet.
Just watch the game and enjoy it.
Right.
All right. Ready?
Ready.
Oh, I didn't write mine down. I'm sorry.
Oh, write it down.
Oh.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
8.2 for me, 7 for Sydney, and an
Wow.
8 for Tommy.
Compared to you guys.
Actually, I was gonna do like 7 points something, but I wanted to have like a bald number here, and that's why I rounded up to 8.
I see.
So there was something bald in there.
I see what you're doing. First off, phenomenal penalty save on Cucho. Guessed the wrong way and took away. I mean, you expect Cucho, as talented a striker as he is, to convert that 9 out of 10 times. And that was the one time he did it. And credit to Guzan for taking that penalty away. And Tyler, we mentioned it. That was the moment that could energize your team and galvanize your team. And unfortunately, they didn't score, but that would have been a real turning point if Columbus had gone up 2-0 at that time, because that would have just changed a lot from a tactical standpoint. Only faced 3 shots all day. Of course, let one in, had the penalty save of Cucho, and then faced another shot, I think, in the first half. But again, not really tested all that much, but he was good. I mean, distribution and he handling the ball near his net. There's a few nervy moments there. And then, just going back to distribution real quick, very shaky, not very shaky, but some shaky distribution moments at certain points of the match, which, I mean, he's prone to do. I mean, it's not surprising to us, but he's still like get kind of frustrated watching it from him. But I mean, he wasn't terrible. I think he's gotten a lot of flack because of his decline. Let's be fair, he has declined as a keeper since he's gotten here. I mean, considering his age, considering his knees, the injuries, I think he's at the back end of his career. We've talked about it before, but I think he did good. And, the debate about him or Cohen is going to continue all throughout the season. Unfortunately, I feel like his first really bad showing is going to really push fans to say, hey, we want Cohen right now. But I think Gregersen gave a very good account of himself against a very good Columbus team. So it's a 7 for me.
When you have a veteran, and that's what we talked about on Wednesday, unless he's really bad in preseason, the veteran wins the job. And it's up to the other player to outperform them at practice and hope that he's able to get the starting job. Pineda took a really long time making a change a few years ago when we had Rocco's Rio, right? He made a lot of mistakes, a ton. So I'm curious in the season what it would take to get Brad Guzan out of net. Because I think it's going to take a lot. And, again, like, I feel when you're a younger coach, some of those decisions come harder, right? And as opposed to like a veteran, like if you see Bill Belichick out there, right, like making, changes and things like that, like no one's going to question him here and there, and that's what he does. Pineda taking out a club legend and Brad Guzan is going to be a pretty controversial decision, I think. And, I don't think Brad's going to take it very well if that ever happens. But yeah, I think he's going to stay here for a while. But I thought he did a decent job. But some of the passes that were off, you were talking about, Sydney. Usually it's just him, just kicking the ball, 25 rows up, right? These ones were just simple passes to the side that were just going out of bounds, immediately giving the ball back to Columbus. And I think that was really frustrating. I don't think I've ever seen the short passes that off before, as opposed to, him trying to belt it, towards midfield. I was frustrated with it. It's Brad, so I'm just become used to it at this point. but there, I mean, he didn't really do anything there. And the goal against, partially on Saba over there, not protecting that corner over there. Mm-hmm. But leadership-wise, one thing when that Cucho goal happened, he got the entire team together, and they met at like midfield. I think everyone was in the huddle except Giakoumakis and Almada, and they all kind of just got together and had a conversation. You could tell like he was on Mayumba, like screaming at him, and Mayumba was going right back at him. Like you could tell that they were trying to get things figured out defensively there. And again, it's a small thing, and I'm not going to overdo it, but you talk about leadership. I did like seeing that. I don't know if they ended up showing it on TV or not, but like that's something that I was like, okay.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't see it.
Yeah, like I don't know if I can imagine like some other people going out and doing that. And Brad is vocal, but I like that he calmed them all down because I thought that they did calm down after that.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it was almost like that goal going in kind of got the jitters out. And that's not to say they had a good rest of the half, but I think it was a little less frantic. And then, of course, whatever halftime conversation happened, I think definitely made a difference. But, I mean, for me, yeah, the passing and the distribution could be better always, I think, with Brad. But you got to give him huge props for the penalty save because, again, the defense did what they were supposed to do to keep this game manageable. And then the offense just couldn't find that equalizer. So I think if you're being honest, though, this was one of Brad's better games within the past calendar year. I mean, of course, LA last year was a big one. There was a couple of really good ones, but I think overall this was a really good match by Brad. And I feel like, and this might just be me overthinking things, but I feel like this offseason, and I wrote it in this article on Scarves and Spikes, but like I feel like he was a little more spry. He was a little more loose and quick and just eager to kind of come off his line and go side to side. And I feel like maybe having that little bit of a break when he didn't have that last year with that injury against New York, I think having this break has really helped him mentally, maybe with some of that confidence with his knee. So hopefully we continue to see it. We continue to see, because if he puts in a performance like he did last night and the defense does, if the offense can get it back together, you're in really good shape, actually. So I'm not concerned with Brad. I thought he's one of the better players out there. So I like what I saw, and you got to give props to the ball guy because he was the leader, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give a shout out too, by the way, to the fans in Columbus.
Oh yeah,
who decided it would be a great idea to hold up this sign as if nobody knew, as if Brad had hair and suddenly did not.
Like, are you just now learning that he's bald, guys? Come on.
Right. I was like,
he's been bald for like the past 10 years.
Right.
That's not the insult you think it is.
Right. I don't know that Brad Guzan has ever had hair. Like, anyway, I saw that this morning and I was like, wait a minute. I don't think that means what you think it means.
Yeah. Good job.
I don't know. During the playoffs, I noticed it the most, but man, the Columbus fans hate Brad, and I don't get it. I don't get the crazy amount of boos that were going on for him. They weren't saying goos; it was definitely boos. Like, and I guess
like Michael
you go
Bradley
back,
in Atlanta.
Yeah, someone from the crew actually tweeted me that, like a crew fan tweeted me like it was a Michael Bradley situation. But I guess in game one, we were really just trying to get that 0-0 draw, and he was holding on to that ball a lot in that game. But, man, I couldn't believe it. Just how the boos. And the crew fans were, if I had to rate the crew fans this time around, usually I give them like a 9 out of 10. It was fun. I don't know if it was just some new fans that were jumping onto the crew because they just won the championship. But, man, there were some jerks out there.
Oh, Well,
Yeah.
what
Like in a really bad way?
Medium.
That's fair. Was he one of them?
You know, it's a college town, so there were some college bros out there just
Those
trying to college bro it up.
Sure.
Chads and Brads.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Not Brad Guzan.
Right.
Mainly
cats.
Fought Mob giving Brad a solid 7.4.
Okay.
Best of the team. Just ahead of Silva.
Okay.
So that was good though. That was good. Y'all just saw a brand new website, kind of, in that video, that little screenshot. So go make sure you're checking out the website, scarvesandspikes.com. We will be back on Wednesday to get you guys all prepped for a bye week early.
Already?
Talk about MLS and the way things are going down. And yeah, make sure you guys go. We got some of our merch that we're wearing, hats. You probably saw me with my Cerveza glass, but got plenty of stuff over on patreon.com/scarvesandspikes. Join on Etsy, but go join the Patreon.
Patreon too?
Yeah. Go join the Patreon. We got plenty of content over there as well. But go to our Etsy, get you something. Get merch. You a hoodie, merch, hat, glass, coffee cup, all kinds of stuff. So other than that, we will see you guys next time.